Hi, I'm Margie Holmes, psychologist, author, and educator. Today's episode is on threesomes, but before I continue, I want you to know, no, I don't have threesomes under here. It's just that it's so hot, I can't wear a blazer, okay? So I just wore and will start wearing all my linen stuff, which unfortunately is very loose. Okay, so for the show, the first thing I asked is, what do you think about threesomes? Elle says, open-minded people would say, okay lang yon as long as di sila nakatapak ng ibang tao sa ginagawa nila. If they want that kind of thing to do, then, and they are happy with it, then go on. That is their life. But, Elle continues, for conservative-minded people, mandidiri sila, manlalait, at manghuhugas ng bonggang-bongga. Manghuhusgas ng bonggang-bongga. For religious-minded people, let's expect that they are not in favor of threesomes. Of course, kasi it's a sin, and they will think these people doing this kind of sex are immoral. Imbes na kanila manggagaling ang pangunawa sa mga taong gumagawa nito, sila pa yung unang nagkokondema na kulang ng magsaboy ng holy water. Now, that is very true, Elle. And in addition, here were many people who were not very supportive of threesomes. For example, we have Thelma. Too many cooks will spoil the broth. Magwawala ang intimacy. Myra says, I think someone will end up hurt after. Susie Ledesma says, lugi ang babae. And Han says, people out there think it's hot and sexy, but I find that it compromises them as people who are beyond what the flesh yearns. Some actually tried it, and here's what they say of their experience. LV, I tried it one time with someone I'm dating. Then that someone introduced me to somebody else. Me and somebody ang nagkatuluyan. Kala ko maiiwasan ang lokohan. I was wrong. Somebody still cheated. So I realized just because your partner is open to it, it doesn't mean lagi kanyang kasali. Minsan gusto nila ang exclusive. Joy, na-try ko po yun sa ibang room with two guys at ako lang yung babae, yung girl. At first, akala ko okay lang, pero may feeling na awkward. So, trinay namin one at a time. Hindi pa rin ako komportable. Parang wala namang nangyari sa amin kahit isa dun sa dalawang lalaki. At never ko nang inulit kasi nakakailang at hindi ko kaya sikmurain na dalawang guys na magkasabay. Joy, I am so happy, masayang-masaya ako na sinubukan mo ito at nang na-realize mo na di mo talaga type, nakasabi ka na hindi at hindi mo na ginawa kahit na marahil pressure ka ng ibang tao. It takes courage to do that and not to constantly berate yourself for having tried something unconventional. Maria Clara shares, when I met with a man and his bisexual girlfriend for my first threesome, I asked if there were any rules. Both shook their heads and said, we three will go where we all want to. Later, the girlfriend became all weird and pushed the guy away whenever he wanted to focus on me. It ended up a battle between them when she said, I can go home if you want me and you both can just finish up. I finally asked them to dress up and leave. What happened there, Dr. Holmes? This is what I think, Maria Clara. I think you have been triangulated. Triangulation occurs when two people need another to prop up their relationship. Let me give you an example. To avoid having to deal with the husband's infidelity, both parents focus on their children's misbehavior. Usually, it is only one child, labeled the black sheep. With the black sheep taking up all of their time and energy, the parents can ignore the problems in their own marriage and yet not look like they are. The black sheep is the one triangulated. The black sheep, in a sense, is the sacrificial lamb for the relationship or for the family, just like you have been, Maria Clara. In fact, if you wanted to be dramatic about it, you might say that your body was the battlefield on which each hoped to establish dominion over the other, and I am so happy that you stopped the engagement before it got any further. Now, for those of you who want to find out more about Maria Clara, please read our column Two-Pronged in the lifestyle section of Rappler.com. One has come out on April 13 and the other will come out in June. Yup, Maria Clara wrote us again and I am so happy about that. In addition to all those who just wondered about it or tried it and didn't like it so much, there are those who wonder about the logistics of it all. Bert asks, for those who've done it, how does one divide their attention between two lovers? Does one get more action than the other? Anne asks, in terms of things I wonder about threesomes, how does one ensure that no one feels left out? How does safe sex work? And if you're a triangle looking for a third, what are must-have rules for selecting the right number 3? How do people feel about inviting an ex to a threesome with their current partner? Dina also asks, but in reality, what I've experienced so far are the following. In this kind of play, a lot of fair play issues come up. Who gets what body part first, what comes first, literally and figuratively. And then jealousy rears its ugly green head, inevitably, and you think my guy partner in this isn't even my boyfriend, but just a sexual mentor, and where is this all going? This is the same as the experience of Maria Clara, isn't it, Dina? Mila says, I am a natural-born adventurer, and threesomes seem to be an adventure. But then again, I'd like to ask, can I share my man with another girl? I don't think so. I still believe that what's mine belongs to me. And threesomes is a big no-no. As for me, it would break one of the biggest and vital parts of a relationship. That is loyalty. May Magsino says, I think threesomes is also a means of compensating for what is lacking. I know someone who wanted threesomes because it's the only way he could dominate women and be the boss. Back home and in the office, he's the butt of jokes. During threesomes, he feels like a god, in control, even for just a fleeting moment. Pretty good insight, May. Evie says, threesomes may pose a threat to the other one, especially if there's a relationship between the other pair. Seems also that it's unhealthy because you do not know if one has a sexually transmitted disease. I guess that sort of relates to what you said, Dina, about what are the must-have rules. No? Find a way to ensure that all of you do not have a transmitted disease, that none of you have an STD. Alfie says, when somebody claims that the other one will get hurt emotionally in a threesome encounter, that's merely hypothetical. Not every experience is universal. What may be, in quotes, immoral, yucky, or unhealthy to some may not be to some others. And then we have closet addict who says, I am lucky to have a straight guy fuck buddy who has the fantasy of having threesomes. Him, me, and another guy. I don't know if he wants this on a per-case basis. I noticed that he can't keep up with me, so maybe he's a bit reluctant about adding another energy drainer on his part? Or is it that he considers that I am a homophobe? Actually, closet addict, it's too soon to find out what the reason is for your partner suggesting these things, suggesting another guy instead of a girl like you. But if you think he's okay and you trust him enough to be a fuck buddy, would it be okay kaya to ask him what he thinks? The fact that he's only a fuck buddy may make it easier for you to ask him because there's no sense of rejection. Or if there is, it won't be as much, right, as it would be if it were a loved one. After all, that is what I said earlier, right? Fuck buddy doesn't mean that you can't ask him an earnest question. So, does that mean that threesomes are always upsetting because they lead to bad endings? Are threesomes really merely fantasies that never turn out as good as people imagined? Stay tuned next week when we talk about possible upsides of threesomes. Thanks for your questions and stories. Send in your questions and suggestions about topics that we can use on Facebook, tweet using the hashtag AskMargie, or send email to askmargie@rappler.com. See you next week!